Divorce is painful enough, but the question that follows is often even heavier. Can I remarry without failing God? For many believers, this question brings fear, confusion, and sometimes even shame. Today, we're going to dive deep into Scripture to see what the Bible really says about remarriage after divorce. Remarriage isn't just a personal decision, it's a spiritual one. People ask, am I sinning if I remarry? Will God still bless my life if I do? These aren't easy questions. That's why we need to go straight to what Jesus and Paul taught. In Matthew 19, the Pharisees asked Jesus about divorce. Jesus answered by pointing back to God's design. What God has joined together, let no one separate. He made it clear that marriage is sacred. It's a covenant, not just a contract. Then he added, anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another woman commits adultery. At first glance, this sounds like remarriage is always wrong, unless adultery broke the covenant. And for many years, that's how people understood it. But is that the whole story? Paul, writing to the church in Corinth, added more insight. In 1 Corinthians 7:15, he says, if the unbelieving partner separates, let it be so. In such cases, the brother or sister is not bound. Not bound to what? Not bound to stay in a marriage where the covenant has been abandoned. This means that abandonment, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional, can also be grounds for release. So we now see two biblical grounds for divorce and possible remarriage. Sexual immorality, Matthew 19. Abandonment by an unbelieving spouse, 1 Corinthians 7. But here's what we need to remember. The Bible doesn't treat remarriage as a free pass, but it also doesn't treat it as an unforgivable sin. The heart of God is always restoration, whether that's through reconciliation or through healing and a new beginning. Paul reminds us in 1 Corinthians 7:17, each person should live as a believer in whatever situation the Lord has assigned to them. In other words, seek God's will for your life. Pray, listen, get wise counsel. Don't rush into remarriage, but don't live under condemnation either. So, can you remarry after divorce? The biblical answer is, it depends. Scripture gives grounds in cases of adultery and abandonment, but every situation is unique. What matters most is that you seek God's heart, not just a loophole in the rules. If you are divorced and considering remarriage, take it to the Lord in prayer. Invite Him into your healing first, because remarriage should never be an escape from pain, but the fruit of God's restoration in your life. Here's the good news. Even if your past doesn't look perfect, God's grace covers you. Divorce doesn't disqualify you. Remarriage, if done prayerfully and biblically, can still be a gift from God. Remember, our God is not the God of condemnation, but of redemption. If this message gave you clarity, comment below, Lord, guide my steps. And if you know someone wrestling with this question, share this teaching with them. Let's spread truth and hope where there's been confusion and shame.